Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of NCI Live. Today, we're going to be talking about the power of Microsoft Teams, and I'm going to be your presenter today. I love Microsoft Teams. I'm the specialist here at NCI. I'm a technical solution specialist. Um, uh, we regularly do a lot of implementations of Microsoft Teams, and in this age of modern work, it is probably the predominant tool that we use for it. So we're going to be covering a lot of things, a little bit different NCI Live than we normally do. So what I want to encourage everyone is if you are attending us, you are joining us live, please feel free to chat us your questions. We're live on both LinkedIn and YouTube. So please feel free to send those questions in, and I'll do my best to answer those questions. I also have a guest joining me today with helping out with these. We're going to be doing some demos to helping out with these demos. Joining me is John Ryan, who's also a technical solutions specialist here at NCI. John, how are you doing today?
Hey, great. How are you?
Great. I appreciate you joining me today to help out with these demonstrations. Teams is one of those interactive programs, and it's a collaborative program. So I can't collaborate unless I have a collaborator. So I appreciate you joining with us. Uh, just for 1 second, what do you like about Teams? Just can you tell me?
Well, I think and I guess if you have previous experience in the SharePoint space, when they created Teams, it kind of gave a front end easier interface to interact with all of the tools. Not only just the chatting tools, but the Teams workspace with all of the documents and everything.
Hmm.
I think when SharePoint first came out, it was kind of clunky, right? It was kind of hard to maneuver it. And when they put this Teams interface on top of it, it really makes everything super easily accessible and way more user friendly.
Certainly, certainly. What do you find which feature do you find that you like the most, or that you maybe even use the most? Maybe would be a better way of putting it.
Yeah, I think the being able to access the document libraries through the Teams
Mm.
channels is probably the thing I use the most, other than just chatting and calling.
Yep.
I don't use my desk phone anymore. I just do everything through Teams. But so I use that on a daily basis along with the chatting. But as far as outside of just kind of the simple tools, if you want to call it that,
Mhm.
having the Teams channels and being able to access and co-edit documents through that is so much easier than it's ever been. And really intuitive, and it's easier, makes my job easier,
Mhm.
faster to get things done.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, I appreciate your insight. Let's go ahead and jump right into kind of an overall idea of what Teams is for those of our attendees who haven't used it, but also just kind of set the stage for what we're going to be talking about. Now, I'm actually uh, going to be working in the Microsoft standard demo called Contoso. And Contoso is a fictitious company that Microsoft has created to um, allow us to do demonstrations. And in this particular case, I'm going to be participating as someone called Alan DeYoung, and John here will be participating as somebody called Alex Wilbur. Now, to set the stage again, Teams is a collaboration environment. It is a modern workplace tool. And as such, it has a lot of built-in tools. At the left-hand side of the Teams interface, you have, chat. You have actual teams, and we'll come back to that in just a second. We have calendar, we have calls, and then we have plug-in apps. Now, the most powerful function I think of Teams is that there's a couple of things. Number one, it's modular. And you can plug in the various cloud applications that you have and even on-prem applications that you might be using and bring them into a collaborative environment so that you can work together with your colleagues, whether you are in the office physically or whether you are working somewhere on a beach in the Caribbean. In any rate, as long as you have access to Teams, and that's the second part of this, Teams is available on both. your Windows, it's available on Macintosh. It's also available on, say, a tablet in Android and iOS. It's also available on your phone. And a good majority of all these functions we're going to be talking about are available on all these platforms. So you can be collaborating and working with your colleagues using all of the tools at your disposal. I can't stress that enough of how important that is to be able to communicate and collaborate with your coworkers using this product. I know that John and I have been working on something, and I've been either working from home or out in the field, and I've sent John a message in Teams just to be able to get the information I needed, or to give him some information that he's needed. And it was quick and simple. And rather than having to send it in, say, a text message, which of course you can do, but having text messages of the 500 people in your company or even 50 people in your company is not always practical. In addition, all of that information can be searched and saved. All right, I'm just going to quickly review in case you haven't seen Teams. I'm just going to give you a quick, maybe 10-minute overview of some of the features. Chat is just as it sounds. It is chatting much like text messaging one to one. And I'm going to chat here. I'm chatting with Alex. So I'm going to say, okay, what have you done today? And just like that, it's a lot less structured and formal than what you might use in, say, an email. A lot of people ask me, can't I just email this? Yeah, but emails tend to be a lot more structured and formatted. Like, hello, Alex. I wanted to ask you what was going on today. I can also see here that, much like on the Apple iPhone, that Alex is actually at his desk and typing a response. I can also see that Alex is available and not scheduled for a meeting, on a call, or anything else. Great, awesome. He's on a meeting so far, but he is available now. I could turn this chat session into either a video call or a phone call just by clicking up here on one of these two buttons. It will automatically call, in this case, Alex, and we'd be talking one on one. And again, I could do this from my mobile phone, my tablet. In this case, I happen to be using a web browser. So even if I wasn't at any computer, let's say I was at my home computer and I didn't have Teams installed, I'm doing this collaboration securely and via encrypted channels. So extremely powerful in that regard. I can also attach files, just like I might do with an email or any other chat program. I can do fun things like using smileys, emojis, things like that we use in communication. I can also do things like GIFs, if you're familiar with that. I'm one of the ones who says GIF as opposed to GIF, but I can search for, you know, search for those and send them for fun things. And they show up in a chat message just as if you were sending a text message. One of the cool parts, though, within messages, within chats, is from here, if I were to say, send Alex a file, I'm going to go ahead and upload a file. And I'm just going to grab a file from my computer. This is where the power comes into Teams. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and let's go ahead and just send them a document. Let's go ahead. Let me just grab I'm looking for a really good one here. Pardon me while I take here we go. I'm sending him I'm going to send him a document, and then we're looking at this same document, and I've shared it with him automatically. If I click into that document, it opens up, because we're in Microsoft Teams, it's going to go ahead and open up Microsoft Excel. And now we can work on this document at the same time, and both of us can be in that document. Okay. And I can see here this little icon, see that Alex Wilbur is in the document. I can even see where Alex is in the document. Okay. I can view comments that he's made. Okay. I can even go ahead and uh, set the document to be viewing only. I can even send it and co-edit. I can even set it so that people can only to send it to other people so that they can take a look at it. Uh, Here's an example of, let's say I needed to edit this file, and I'll say yes, and I can have Alex can go ahead and he can take a look at what he needs to edit, maybe make some changes to the spreadsheet, and you can see that here he changed it to maybe. We could be working on this spreadsheet together. Truly powerful. One of the other benefits is, why would I, in the old days, I'm going to say the old days, but it wasn't all that long ago, we might email something, a file back and forth to work on together. And the problem with that is, what version of the file is accurate? Because I might have a version that I'm working on, and in this case, Alex might have a version that he's working on, and we don't know which one is correct. So is this accurate? So you notice when I have comments, we can be chatting at the same time, and I can go ahead and say, yes, check out E11 and send him that message. So we can be chatting while we're working on this file together. So it's a real-time stream. We don't have to be on the phone. I could certainly, make a phone call to him, say let's work on this spreadsheet together, but we're chatting and we're working together in Teams. This is the power of Teams. This is one of the most powerful functions. He says, oh, okay, that makes sense. So all right, let's go ahead, and I'm just going to go ahead and close that document. Now Alice could stay in here and he could make some additional changes, and the cool part is, I can go back in to that document. Alex, John, I'm going to go ahead and make some changes to that document. And I'm going to go back in. Once I go back in, I'll be able to see that John has made some changes. And wait for it to load up. There's some changes he's made. Okay. And there's a catch up button. You can hit catch up in case you were out of the loop, like somebody else was editing, or two or three other people were editing the document, and you wanted to see what was done. You can go ahead and look at the edits. Now, there's also a function in Word and Excel that has to do with tracking changes, but that's separate from this function. Okay, I'm going to add a couple of other pieces here. Now, we were just working on that file, and during chats actually have another piece at the top here that makes it not just a chat. Chats are kept within Teams, and so including any files that we've exchanged. So I was working with Alex on a file. Notice there's a files tab at the top. So I can go through here and I can look at all of the files that we've worked with together. In addition, these are default tabs. There's what's called an organization tab. And assuming the security settings have been correct, you can actually see where Alex fits in the org chart of the company and who their supervisor is, and how to get a hold of Miriam, Alex's supervisor. And I could even send a quick messages. Alex did a great job today. Even though I can see that she's offline, she's not. And there's even more things like, what has Alex done recently that I have security access to. I want to stress that the things I'm telling you about, there are security policies that can lock it down. Then there's also the LinkedIn tab where if you have an account on LinkedIn, company, uh, your company user has a company LinkedIn account, you can actually look up this person on LinkedIn and associate their information within Teams. Very powerful function. One last piece I want to add is that in, uh, you know what, I'm going to come back to that. Up at the top here, we have a search bar. Now, search is for searching company-wide, but not just company-wide. It can actually search outside of Teams as well, specifically users that are external to the Microsoft Teams tenant. So let's say I wanted to search any other company that is using Microsoft 365. For example, this Contoso, let's say I needed to Teams myself at Network Center. I can see search David externally, and there I am. And the cool part about that is when I do it, it shows the little circle next to it, and it shows that I'm in fact busy. I happen to be presenting at NCI Live, and it turns on the do not disturb. I can say, hey, can you call me quick? And this will cross message between companies. Very powerful function because now we can do things like I can do phone calls and video meetings one-to-one or one-to-many between companies without setting up meetings. A lot of people set up Teams meetings and Zoom meetings and other things. But let's say I just need to get some information. I can just directly chat them rather than emailing them. You'll notice, though, that there's no attach file function. And that's a security feature. You don't want to attach files where, in a chat, where, it could be viruses or what have you. I'm going to pause here real briefly and just say, those of you, again, that are joining us, if you have questions or even comments, please feel free to message me live here. And if there are any questions, please let me know, and I will, again, do my best to answer them. So I would really appreciate that, and we can definitely get any of those questions answered. Okay, in addition, let's move on to what we call the teams. Now, a team, the most difficult thing people have about teams is grasping the concept of a team. A team is a collection of the people and the resources that you use to do work, and more specifically, collaborative work. As an example, most departments have I call it a natural team, because in the marketing department, they're going to use the same set of files about, 80% of the time. They're going to use the same programs about 80% of the time, the same websites, all of those things, and they will all communicate and collaborate the same way. So there's a great example. The same thing with sales. They use different programs than, say, marketing, although, to be fair, there's some overlap. Now, that's a natural team. Another one is project-based teams, where you'll have cross-disciplinary functions, but you'll also have cross-disciplinary documents and programs that are used for collaboration, websites, and so forth. Now, channels, which you notice here we have sales, U.S. sales, and then underneath that we have some channels. And channels are a way of further organizing communications. Now, every team has a general channel, but then beyond that, each channel can be organized, or you can make additional channels to organize those. So if I look at, let's go to HR leadership, and I go into general, doesn't look like there's a whole lot here because they want to use the events, and these are threaded communications, similar to chats, but they are threaded. So if I go back in and I want to respond to a particular message, I can go ahead and do that. Um, and I can keep all of the stuff and the data and the communications all in one place. And how I do that is I not only can I talk about something, but I can also put my files in channels. And this is the key. The idea of transitioning from an on-premise server to a cloud-based file storage using OneDrive and Teams is we put the files within the Teams channels where they naturally reside. So marketing documents and things are going to reside in the marketing channel. Sales documents and proposals are going to reside in the sales channel. And by doing that, you get them out of that. Let's drop everything onto the S drive and then make 27 folders deep, like uh, sales 2017, and just go 27 layers deep, because Teams forces you to organize them by team and by channel. By doing that, you actually work more efficiently. All right. So moving on, I want to add a couple of other features that at the top here, I can add tabs to the top of not only chats, but channels as well, and add apps or applications. And you've heard the saying, there's an app for that. Well, let's say I'm working in the HR leadership team as one of the members, and I want to add let's say here, a tasks by planner. That's one that comes with free with most licenses. You can actually make a task grouping. Think of it like project management light. You can put tasks and then categorize them in a bucket of tasks. So we might have project A that has 12 tasks in it. I assign those tasks out to 10 different people in my team. And then you can track the status um, of those tasks. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add that tasks by planner to my team. And this one is probably one of the most powerful functions that people are not using. I'm going to say this is event plan. Because I'm making a sample event plan. So now when I go into the event plan, as part of the team, let it come up here, it'll take a minute. Let me see if Alex, I think you might not be a member of the already in team. Okay, great. Okay, so now I can take my event plan for this HR leadership, and we can say retreat. We're going to make a bucket called retreat. And I'm going to add a task like book venue. And I want that done by August 14th. And I'm going to assign that to good old Alex. And then I'm going to say, decide on menu, set due date. We need that done by the 15th. And I'm going to assign that to Adele. And you can see then, here's our bucket of tasks. And I call it that because it is not true project management. Because project management has what we like to call a critical path. If one date slips, they all slip. Um, and this is the set of tasks that have to be completed in order for the project to be completed. This is just a bucket of tasks that need to be done. And it looks here like here's my to-do that was assigned to me by Alex to create an event plan by this date. Okay. And these, I can actually look at these tasks by list, by board, by chart, or even by schedule. Like when do these things have to be done by? Very powerful scheduling function for a team. And if you think about it, I bet you can think of a team that you exist or that you're a part of, and I just mean a team in your company where tasks are doled out, or you're working on a project, or just within your department where you need to assign tasks and track those tasks and to find out where things are at within those tasks. So we're getting to the end of our time together today, but I want to just open this up to John. John, do you have any comments or things you'd like to add to our conversation about some of the powerful functions of Teams that people may not be using? I mean, we covered briefly chat and just Teams chatting and things and some of the files, but is there anything you'd like to add?
Yeah, I like the calendar, which is the next one down.
Hmm.
Especially if you have meetings coming up and you want to join a meeting, you don't have to go into your actual calendar. It'll pull up the day that you're on and it'll
Hmm.
give you the join button to
Yep.
join your next meeting, basically. That's
Right.
really a quick link to get into a meeting without having to open up a meeting request and click on the link and wait for it to take you out there. It's
Right.
a really nice quick way to join a meeting that you have coming up next. So it pulls that information from your calendar, and it also populates any of the team's information on it as well.
Right. So, for example, like you were saying, is if I made a meeting with you here, um, I just have the join button. And if it comes up on the time at say noon, the join button will actually be right here on the blue section. That's what you're referring to.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
Yep.
Super easy to jump into your next meeting.
You and I both have lots of meetings every day. We're meeting after meeting after meeting. Yep. You can even start your own meeting right here from the calendar with Meet Now. The one thing about Teams too is that there are literally hundreds of features within Teams that it's easy to get lost sometimes, but it's to prioritize what you need to do for your work and how do you collaborate with people in your company. I've seen Teams used for tracking data manufacturing, tracking an entire process line, which Teams can do just fine. You can add an app within a team and that management can view, but also the frontline workers can use. I've seen it used in banking. I've seen it used in nonprofits. I've seen it used all over the place. And for different uses, there are different applications and different designs. So the key is to design it properly, such that uh, the functions are put, excuse me, the functions are put in place properly. Anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, just one more thing. If you create a chat group, so you put a couple of people in a group in your chats,
Mm-hmm.
you can actually just click on the phone icon and it'll call everybody in that chat group and it'll put you
Yep.
in a phone call together, which is really
Yeah.
nice. It's a quick way to get a bunch of people queued up into a call in an ad hoc type situation.
Yeah. So let's say I wanted to call you and your boss, Miriam, right? And say, add, we're here in a chat, in a group chat, which, by the way, once you've had a group chat, you can actually name the chat. Okay. But if I wanted to just call everybody, I can hit the call button or the video call button, and boom, you're at an ad hoc meeting. All of us. So
Yep, very
pretty
handy.
cool.
Yeah.
So all right. Well, there's so much to go through and so much to by all John, I've appreciated you assisting me with this today. Uh we've only gotten, I mean, 5% of the basics of what teams can do. But I hope that everybody that's watching can appreciate that it's more than just a chat program. It's more than just document management. It's more than just editing. That it's greater than the sum of its parts, as they like to say. So, for those of you joining us, I'd like to thank you for joining us today. If there's anything that you didn't get or you'd like to explore more, please feel free to email us at info@netcenter.net. You can also visit our website at www.netcenter.net or visit us on any of our social media channels. If you're visiting us on YouTube, please like and subscribe, as well as hit the little notification bell so you get notified every time we go live, which is every 2 weeks on Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time. So, with that, I'm going to bring this to a close and thank all of you for coming. And again, as I said before, John, thanks for helping out and
My pleasure.
offering some insight as well into your use of Teams. And please, anybody else, if you'd like to Teams me, you have the information out there. Those of you who have worked with me before, feel free to email at info@netcenter.net, and I'm happy to give you my direct Teams address, and we can work on that. So, with that, thanks everyone for joining us today on NCI Live.